Does this microphone work? No, it doesn't, but I feel kind of fancy holding it. But for some reason, my vlog camera doesn't have anywhere to plug it into. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, vlog camera. What are you even good for? Anyway, hey, hi, hello. It is August. What is today? August 31st. And that means it is the end. The end of time. Not really. That's very dramatic. Why are we so bright? Holy shit. I'm not feeling quite that bright this morning. Damn. Does that look better? Do I need to go deeper? Well, that, oh no, that shows you like every flaw on my face. Let's not do that. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for my meds to kick in. It's August 31st. Tomorrow is September 1st, which is the start of a whole new thing for me on multiple levels. First of all, the Magical Readathon starts, and it's a month-long thing, and we're gonna talk about that because we're gonna do a lot of planning for it today. The second thing is I start my full-time schedule of being a content creator. Didn't see that coming, did you? Considering I haven't been on this channel in like 6 months. Did I have a life crisis and quit my job? Yeah. I have been spending the past few days kind of prepping for this transition. One, I have a whole notion absolutely dedicated to like what my day by day is going to look like. A full-blown life thing, because one of the things I need to work on are habits, because I have a problem making habits, and now I'm in charge of a job in which I need to live off of that requires habit making. Multiple different ways of tracking all the things I need to get done, but my favorite way is making a list. So today we're gonna make a list of all the shit I want to do for you today, and for me, mostly for me. You're just here for the ride, honestly. I don't know why I put that on your shoulders. I'm so sorry for that burden that I put on you for 3 seconds. Handy dandy notebook. Let me get my marker, a pen, a pencil, a something. First of all, I don't know what the hell that is. Okay, meds. I tend to write things that I've already done. I need to water my plants. Okay. Post September schedule. Yeah, hell yeah. Magical TBR. I did my meds. I already did that because I'm a person who has their shit together. Yeah. What? Do you want me to close your little canopy? Oh, look at... Oh, no, you don't want the canopy closed. Sorry. I thought you wanted a little canopy bed. I thought you did. Have no nap? Oh, my goodness. How does this day make you feel? Did you miss me while I was gone for half a month? Okay, well, you could have at least lied to the camera. Tell them that you lied to the camera. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. You're so cute. I love you. Okay. Stay up late because I'm a streamer. Let's talk about the actual reading thing, you know, because that's what I actually do here, is I read books and then I tell you about them, whether or not you actually care. That's just what I do here. This whole month is the Magical Readathon, which is hosted by G over the book Roast, who is absolutely so creative and fantastic and gorgeous. And girl, what is that? The LUT that you're using. Can I pay you for the LUT that you're using? It's gorgeous. I can't get mine to look like that. Anyway, it looks like a complicated readathon. It's not. I will say I've never participated in it before, and I wasn't going to. But I get FOMO, and all of my friends, like all of my friends, are participating, and I was like, now I have to. Through the process, it's actually not that complicated. I'll leave some links down below that G has done amazing. Like, she makes sure that you know what you're doing when you're going into it. Gonna mix it up a little bit, okay? So I went through the process. One, I created my character, went through the guides. Basically, you make your character, the race, and then also like where they're from, when they're born, their legacies, and like this kind of determines things that you're doing, kind of. This all, if you would have participated in years before, apparently there was like a system to this, but because I am a procrastinator, of all things, get to do whatever the fuck I want because I'm starting this late in the game. Normally there is a spring semester and an autumn semester. I didn't participate in the spring semester, and technically how the spring semester works is that it like qualifies you for the things that you'll take in the fall semester. But because I didn't do that, I decided to write this fake letter to the admissions office at 3 a.m. was asking permission to do the spring semester, but I have to finish my spring semester syllabus before I can do any of the fall semester. I decided it would probably be best in this Fae semester to work on the Feywild cartographer path. But that meant that I had to look at all those classes from the spring semester and look at that TBR before I could do the fall one. So this week in particular, I am only going to be focusing on the spring semester syllabus that I didn't do. And if I don't complete them, I can't move on to the fall reading prompt. From the spring semester, we have a source of light on the cover. We have a yellow title, a Zodiac recommendation, something with a circle on a cover, one where I put 3 titles on a piece of paper and then I draw one at random, and then a book I didn't pay for. The best place to start would be my TBR cover. Source of light on the cover. And so I was like, you know what? Evocation, which I do believe is also like the group read. I might have made this up. This could be completely false information. I don't know. These are little candles. These are candles. So I am going to read this for the source of light on the cover. I don't know. I loved S.T. Gibson's A Dowry of Blood, and they've had 2 books come out, and I might consider reading them both. Then we have, for my animal studies, I need to read something that has a yellow title. Originally, I was like, maybe gold can count for this, right? And then I was looking at Lair Dreams, but this is actually like lime green. And then this bad boy just stands right out, doesn't it? 1 star. 1 star romance, which is so incredibly bright. It's just blowing everything out. And I feel like I am going to need something to break up a lot of my reading. I've been in such a like fantasy kick and historical and like depressing reads lately that I feel like I'm going to need a little bit of a pick-me-up maybe. And I feel like this will be a really good audiobook to read for the week. Can probably fly through it kind of deal. She writes romance, and then she has to walk down the aisle with the best man at her best friend's wedding, who has very publicly given her romance book a 1 star rating. Okay. That sounds saucy. Okay. Okay, so then for my astronomy, a Zodiac recommendation, I'm going to watch Katie Colson's Zodiac Recommendations because 1, I'm a Gemini. Did you know Katie is also a Gemini? That's why we're amazing. And I love Katie so very much, and I feel like oftentimes I can have very similar tastes to Katie, and I trust her judgment in books. I'm going to watch that, and I'm going to pick. Don't judge me by the state of this.
Then we have my sun sign, Gemini. So if you were born between the dates of May 21st to June 20th, you are the pinnacle of an air sign. You are a Gemini who is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. Now, this planet also rules over curiosity, intellect, and quick wit. So this leads Geminis to be the most chattiest, most open-minded, and most social of all of the zodiac signs. Gemini, I'm telling you right now, I know you're going to like these books, okay?
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
The One by John Mars. It will tell you, based on everyone else that has sent in DNA, who is the most scientifically accurate to be your soulmate.
I don't tend to love a lot of sci-fi. Oh my god. Poor Katie is just blown the fuck out. So sorry, Katie.
My next recommendation is Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney. And I cannot tell you how much a Gemini is going to eat this up, because this is going to lend to a Gemini something that they adore over everything else. And that's telling stories. They have a son, okay. And like 4 or 5 years into raising this son, they get a knock on the door, and it's another family with a son the same age. And they're like, that's our son and this is your son. They got switched to a hospital. And I
don't tend to like thrillers that deal with any type of children. Just flat out. I'm nervous. Katie, I'm nervous.
Nose on an Execution by Dania Kakofka.
I didn't like Notes on an Execution. It was very mid for me. Is that it?
Read this.
Oh no, Katie. I better love The One or Playing Nice, Katie. I better love it. I don't know why I'm so aggressive today. It's Saturday. I'm feeling wow. I'm gonna see if I can find The One or Playing Nice here on Everant to listen to, because I did get a part-time job and I can listen to a lot in my part-time job. Okay, I don't see The One, at least on Everant, okay, which is probably the one I'd be more interested in. Playing Nice. Playing Nice is also not on Everant. Okay, the audiobook of The One is on Hoopla. Okay, borrow that shit. I want to borrow that shit, please. The other one is Playing Nice, which I don't see, thank goodness. Okay, so I guess I'm going to read The One. I swear, Katie, I better like it. Or I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna hug you so freaking tight, you're gonna want to marry me. And you know why that's a curse? Because I am never getting married. That's why that's a curse. For my alchemy studies, I have to read something with a circle and a cover. I am going to cheat on this, and I want to continue reading Lair of Dreams because I have clearly already been reading this. Excuse me. I've clearly already been reading this. I'm going to count this as the circle on the cover. But if that doesn't suffice, okay, if that doesn't suffice, you have this one as well. Okay, lots of circles on this one, on this edition. And I'm going to pretend, because I have basically given myself this challenge to read the spring semester, I'm going to act like, you know, I got the syllabus and I basically have been reading ahead of time. Close to about 300 pages left, so that's basically a novel in and of itself. Inscription. I have to read 3 titles. Nope, I do not have to do that. I have to put 3 titles on a piece of paper and then pick one at random. So let's do that. Titles. I have put these: Prisoning Hills, which is a horror novella. Something is Killing the Children, which is a graphic novel. And Tempest of Tea, which is just a straight up fucking novel. I'm gonna see what the fates are going to decide for me, because that feels the best option here. And you're probably like, Allie, why are we in your kitchen? And that's because I need to find a mug to put these in so that, you know, I can pull one out, and it's just gonna be really hard to find one. I found one that matches my shirt. Okay, we're gonna put these bad boys. Oh my god, it's gonna be so hard to like stir them up and really pick one. All right, what?
2,000 years later.
What will the fates have decided for me? Will they give me a challenge, or will they be very forgiving of me? They hate me. They said, one more fucking novel, bitch. I have to do a book I didn't pay for. Or, I mean, I have an arc right here. The Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelly Clark, who is one of my favorite writers. So, you know what, we're gonna add this. We'll see, maybe I'll double up. Maybe not. But this will be on the TBR just in case. This is my weekly TBR. Do I hate me? Do I hate me? Normally I put my TBR on my on my ladder, but my ladder's kind of full at the moment of things. Hi, good morning. Unfortunately, one of the new things that has been happening with my new sleep schedule, because I'm going to bed earlier, is that I've started to wake up around 3 or 4 in the morning. But I think I'm just going to use this to my advantage right now, and maybe just try to do some, like, little tasks. What do you think, Phoenix? Do you think that's a plan? Oh, that's a big stretch. Started One Star Romance today, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I am hopefully gonna listen to it and maybe hopefully finish it. How much time do I have left? How long did I listen to today? Apparently I have 3 hours left, which feels like a lie because when I started it this morning, it said I have 4 hours left. I work for 4 hours in the morning. This means oh, it actually already tells you how many hours you have left at 2 times speed. Oh, how fucking long is this romance? Doesn't look that big. How big are you? How big are you? Don't tell me that. It's 400 pages. In a book of the month? That's kind of a lot. Okay, this is a thicker romance than I was anticipating. Of the things that I did do yesterday, so when I streamed on Sunday, everyone alerted me that I was doing the Magical Readathon a little bit wrong. I had missed some things. Basically a whole prompt. So then I spent Monday on my fainting couch, essentially thinking about that. Y'all are gonna be my partial mirror for a second. So, I totally forgot to tell you all why I was even frazzled, other than the fact that I was at a public store. But I needed to ask for assistance not once, not twice, but 3 times. The first time because I dropped a candle and broke it. Second time because I couldn't reach an item. And then the third time was because one of the items that I was buying literally didn't exist in their system at all. It took 4 people to figure out what was going on. Talk about one-star romance, because it's not going as expected. I'm really enjoying it, but I was not expecting, like, one, it seems like a story that is, at least so far what I've read, is that it's mostly about friendship, I think. And then on top of that, I wasn't expecting, there's like massive time gaps between when like the supposed love interests are seeing each other and like doing their lives. And honestly, wrong time, wrong place, right people is like one of my favorite movie tropes. I have yet to read a book that I feel has done it really well. Loved one day, hated the book, DNF'd. So I'm interested to see if this does it well. If so, I'll be really freaking excited. I'm having fun, but at the same time, I feel like I'm gonna get hurt. And there's been a few times, I don't know if I'm just like overly emotional right now, but there's been a few times where I'm like, oh my god, I love this character, and they're so adorable, and I want to cry. Don't look below, because it doesn't matter. Stream only sees this. Okay, let's go stream. It's a DVD day, baby. We're just gonna do it. Okay. First things first, I gotta clean this up. Look at this. Oh, I'm a mess. I am a messy human, okay? Where is he? Cans, book. Goldfish can go. This can go. Oh no, oh no, things are falling. That's what I get. It gets turned on. I'm attempting to come.
I'm gonna sit under this pallet.
What? I thought she was with you!
Okay. No, dude. Well, she was.
Me picking what I thought was going to be a cute, quick, lighthearted romance. And I'm fucking crying. Trying to do my job this morning. Just trying to do my job. Just crying as I deliver the things that I need to deliver. I was not expecting this from this book. It's not, the romance is so very little of this book. I feel bamboozled from the beginning of these chapters. I'm almost done, by the way. And I'm a snotty crying mess. wanna talk about books while I make myself tea? Let's do that. Let's do it. This one feels in season. Don't judge me for making this in the microwave. I'm lazy, okay? Oh no, where's my other book? Okay. Well, fuck. What did I do with the actual book? Mr. Gray, you want to talk about books, baby? You want to talk about books with me? You're so chunky, and I love you for it. Okay, bye. Alright. I finished Lair of Dreams. I still absolutely love and adore this series. It's just so stinking good. Live a Bray. The publishing industry has done you dirty with these covers, and I am so sorry. Every cover that you've had has been so butchered, I feel like, compared to like the standard of your writing. The amount of times I have looked at this and thought, that's probably a cheesy YA from the year 2007, and then I read The Diviners and I'm blown away, and I read Lair of Dreams and I'm blown away, because this is my shit. Historical paranormal stuff. The Roaring 20s were like demon hunting. There's like religious underlying things. There's like facts about the country and the history, and we're not afraid to point out social injustices and racial issues and all those things. We're not afraid to point those out. And the characters, you love them sometimes and you hate them sometimes, and my god, I would fight to the death for most of them. The problem with reading this, even though it took me a very long time to read this, is just one of those books that, like, this one was a much slower pace than The Diviners, but it's still just so good in the end of it. Just, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I was eating it up. And there was things that I had guessed at, but like, seeing them actually written on the page just like breaks my soul a little bit, because I didn't actually want to be right. But the problem with reading this is that I just want to read the next one now, but I don't have time to read the next one this month because they're so big, and I love, these are ones that I definitely enjoy annotating as well, so they take me longer to read. And then I finished One Star Romance. And do you ever pick up what you think is going to be a cute little like rom-com moment, right? I picked this up as my palate cleanser. This was going to be the one that, like, after I read all this heavy fantasy and like thriller stuff, this was going to be the pick-me-up kind of deal. I feel bamboozled. This is like a cute little rom-com-y cover, right? Lures you into some false sense of security within those first few chapters, because you're getting the setup to a cute little rom-com-y thing. At first I was like, man, this is kind of like, you know, we're really kind of getting into this really quickly. And then I realized that when the chapters started having year gaps, I was like, oh, something much bigger is happening here. This is in fact not a story about a cute romance story, although there is that. Honestly, it's not the forefront really of anything. Is a plane taking off on top of my house? Anyway, the romance isn't even like first and foremost in this. This is like a coming of age story. You're in your 20s and headed into your 30s kind of deal. Like throughout the years of learning to be an adult, basically, and not really knowing where life is leading you, or thinking you know where life is leading you, but also about the complexities of like friendship as an adult, and how relationships like can just differ so greatly, and how time can change those, and just like the goals you set for yourself, but also like the things that your parents put on you, and like When I picked this up, was I expecting to sob my eyes out? No. Did I? Yes. I look like a silly little goose. A silly little sad goose when I was doing my job, delivering books, crying my eyes out on my route. 1-star romance. Mm-mm. Nope. This is like a, oh no, I'm like deeply scratching that. This is like, I don't know, it might be a 5. The more I think about it, the more it just is really like settling into my bones as something that I'm like really going to remember. So unexpected, honestly. Such an unexpected read. Speaking of unexpected, I also started Evocation, not super far in, but based on where I am at, I'm realizing that I don't actually know what this book is about. It's interesting because this whole thing I thought was supposed to be about like a demonic curse and like there's alchemy and secret societies and all that stuff. But so far getting into it, that like kind of feels like just things that get mentioned throughout the story and don't actually like get mixed into the story so far. I don't know, maybe this will get better. I'm hoping to finish it. I probably won't finish it today. I'll probably finish it tomorrow. So that still leaves Tempest of Tea, the one, and I do think I'm going to end up swapping the Dead Cattail Assassins out for the Tiny Terrors book club because I didn't read July's book yet, and the discussion is this weekend, and it's my book club. So I need to do that. And I didn't buy it. I rented it. Can you, like, rent a book? It sounds weird to say you rent a book. Like, I borrowed a book. So I didn't pay for it. We might have to swap that out. And it's a novella, so I feel like it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm starting the 1. No pressure. No pressure for me to absolutely fucking love it. But tell me why the 3rd sentence in, as she let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Is this a joke? Like, are authors just in on like an inside joke at this point? Like, they gotta know, right? They know what they're doing. They gotta know. Why do they do this to us? Why? A study needs to be done on why this line is used, despite the fact that everyone hates it. That's all. That's all. Okay, I know I'm not very far into the 1, but there's a shit ton of people to follow, and I think I'm gonna have to take out a fucking notebook and write myself a note of like who is who. I have an idea, I think, or like a theory of like one of the things that might happen. And the only thing that is really tripping me up right now is that I'm like, I keep getting caught, and I know it probably will make this like, I don't know, a point at some, try to make this revelation, but I am hung up on it right now. That like, the whole thing is that like you're matched on your DNA, but it doesn't take into account like the way that like you're raised, or like, is there a personality test that goes with this? Or is it just DNA based? There's so many other aspects that go into that. Like their backgrounds, their interests, their just like childhood trauma, because trauma can just like change so much about you. And I know there's some like illnesses that are passed down, but there's a lot that aren't. And I'm hung up on it, everybody. I'm hung up on it. What about twins? What happens with twins? And I know that this is supposed to be like probably part of the discussion being had, and it's all like, what happens when you're married already and you get a match? Or what happens when your match is dead? What happens when you don't match at all? Like, I get that is what is happening. There's also, one of them is like a serial killer, and I'm interested in that. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the actual service that is being provided. And I don't know why I can't stop, like, just take it for what it is, Allie. Just, like, take it for what it is. Stop overthinking I'm enjoying it, surprisingly. Despite this rant, I am enjoying it. Okay, anyway, that is all. I'm gonna go do my job because I've spent a lot of time just ranting. Okay, let's do a check-in. Let's do a bit of a check-in because I finished 2 books. I was hoping to finish a 3rd, maybe even a 4th today, which would only leave 2 more books to finish by Sunday. It's Friday. I'm delusional and it's okay, okay? Evocation. I don't even know where I'm at in this book at this point. I keep kind of hoping it's almost over, which is kind of sad. I feel bamboozled because one, I had the one book that I was like, this is gonna be a cute little romance, and then it was like about so much more than romance, and then this one I was like, this is gonna be about so much more than romance. It's gonna be like about the paranormal type stuff and like summonings and devils and all that fun stuff, and it's a romance. There's like this weird tension happening between all these characters, and it feels like a weird romance, and I'm kind of bored because like it's not really dealing with the details that I care about. I'm doing my favorite book sin, my book reader sin, in that I am going to the back of the book and skimming for anything that will entice me to continue reading. I can see why a lot of people would like this book, and I would recommend this book to certain people looking for certain tropes, but I think going into it and it being something that like I wasn't anticipating is kind of messing with me. As for the one, I'm still like kind of confused, and I'm still hung up on all the stupid things that I don't need to be hung up on. Where am I at in this? I'm only 33% through it. Interesting. I'm just like kind of confused about who's who still, and I feel like I would have probably benefited from physically maybe reading this, but I don't tend to like physically reading like thrillers happening, and so far I don't know if I'm super invested in all of them, so it will come to certain chapters and I'm like, okay, come on, let's get through with it. And I'm just kind of waiting for like that shoe to drop for something really exciting to happen. We're gonna listen to the one, and I am gonna trade out my mugs for the Halloween season. For those who don't know, I own a lot of mugs. And if you would be interested in me doing either like a mug collection tour, I did one of these years ago and I've since acquired probably 100 mugs since then. A mug collection tour. It will be long. If you would be interested in that, leave what kind of, is there a coffee emoji? Leave the coffee emoji down in the comments. Or if you would be interested in me like showcasing a few mugs each week as like shorts maybe. I don't know. I want to show off my mugs, you know? Let's do this. Step number 1 is that you gotta have fun. Okay, first, take all these bad boys down. Give them a good dusting, because that's what happens. I've come out to check on some of my plants. It's not quite watering day just yet. I think this baby might be in need of an emergency potting. I mean, the roots are beautiful, and normally I would just keep this in water for a while, but it's getting algae. I don't know. Even though the roots are nice and white looking, I'm just nervous for them, you know? I'm nervous for them. So we're gonna pop this monstera in a pot. Okay, it's the last day of this vlog. Also the last day for me to do my spring Magical Readathon synopsis. Yeah. Yep, What are those called? The things with the classes and you learn what you need to do and all that. My required my syllabus. There it is. I'm making some executive decisions here right now. This one I'm replacing. The book that you didn't pay for, I'm replacing. Not gonna read The Dead Cattail Assassins for that one. Instead, I read Mousetrap, which was my Tiny Terrors book club choice, which is a horror novella. So I read that. I didn't pay for it. I got it with like Amazon credits or something, whatever. Remember when the universe hated me and it said, Allie, read A Tempest of Tea for pick something, write the titles down and pick it at random? I'm not gonna do this. I'm going to make myself read this for the fall TBR, but we're not doing this because I want to move on to like the meat and bones, right, of the rest of the readathon. I want to move on to the fall. I want to do what everyone else is doing, what they have gotten to do, because I set this challenge for me. I set it for me. So therefore, I get to play God in the world of my TBR. Decided I'm going to write down 3 different, because I still want it to make it work for them, 3 different titles that are doable today, and we're gonna choose from that instead. I have I've written Midas, which is a middle grade graphic novel, Something is Killing the Children, which I think was on the original list, and then one called Hexed. And so I don't know why it's so hard for me to find things, but I did pick up this one at a yard sale, no, at a thrift store, and it's gorgeous and it's amazing. It's gross on the inside, but you know what? We don't care. Shall I be reading? Why'd you pick the thickest one of these? Yeah, it did. Midas. We're reading Midas, the thickest one, because apparently the universe really does hate me. It said, "Cursed be you, dear reader, for doing this to you. Cursed be you." Anyway, let me go read this, and then we'll be back, and then I'll be done. Term damn it and blinking have been used, so I don't think it's middle grade. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that's not true. I finished almost all of the spring semester. I forgot that we added the end of our week as well, so I'm gonna give you my wrap up of my reading for the week. So, Evocation. I read this for a source of light on the cover, and this is not at all what I expected, in not necessarily a good way. I was expecting a lot of like summoning demons, things like that, because we have like characters who are in this world and who are part of like the secret society type aspect, and basically one of them has found out that there's like a demonic curse, like his soul has been sold to the devil, and they have to try to break that before time runs out kind of deal. But this is more of like a weird relationship, romance type drama thing happening. There's very little aspects of the summoning and the secret society and whatnot, which is like, that's the jam. That's the shit that I want. I kind of like, I didn't even vlog the rest of like me reading this because it reached a point where I was just like, just get through it. Like, just get through it. And I think if it would have been more upfront with like what exactly it was dealing with, because really, yes, there is that like, you know, trying to break this curse thing, but like it is so very little of this plot, and this is much more about like 3 people who are like weirdly in love, but not quite a love triangle, like exploring that and whatnot, but also like, I don't know, it just, I'm gonna give it a 3, and that sucks. It sucks, and it hurts me to do that because I really want to love it, and I love this. And S.T. Gibson's writing I've loved before, but this just wasn't. I just feel lied to. For yellow title, I read One Star Romance, and this one is also not quite what I signed up for, but in a good way. I went warm to death, I think, a little bit about all of this and whatnot before, but I'm giving this, I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Honestly, I could see myself giving it a 5 because this is definitely one I'm going to keep thinking about, but I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 just because it isn't quite what I signed myself up for. Again, but like in a good way. The first one was a bad way. This one was in a good way. So then we had my Zodiac recommendation by the greatest Katie Coulson with The One, and this is like a dating, not a dating, this is where you get your DNA. We live in a world where you can send your DNA to get tested and it will find your match, and it's basically following a bunch of different scenarios. Like we follow like 7 different people in this, and none of them like intertwine at all. Follow like 7 different people and different situations of like what happens. You know what happens when, you know, it's a serial killer. So that's the first one that you find out that is like interesting, and then you go through the rest of this book, and I feel like if I had known going into this that the very end, all the shit was gonna hit the fan, I might have been more intrigued. But for the most part, I felt like I was just slogging through a lot of different scenarios that like I didn't really care about. A lot of them just didn't feel like they needed a whole story to be told. Like it would have been much more interesting if one of them had been like, because like some of them, like I felt like we were really trying to pull story for, and I just wanted to skip those parts and like continue. And I feel like it would have been more interesting if it would just been like, you know, someone talking over a table and they'd be like, I heard, you know, that there was someone who got matched and then later found out that it was actually their brother, or like something weird, you know, something like that. I feel like we didn't need a whole story for. It was just kind of uninteresting. But I do feel like the book did a good job of like keeping you intrigued with some of the different scenarios and really exploring things that like I feel like I wouldn't have guessed or thought of, although my brain probably would have eventually, because anxiety and ADHD and all those fun things. But it was an interesting concept to like look into. It wasn't anything that I particularly was like so invested in or particularly loved. I spent more time just a bit more confused than anything, I feel like. And I could see this being a really good recommendation. It's just this didn't fulfill, I think, what I wanted. So I'm giving it a 3.5. Nothing inherently wrong with it other than the fact that I thought it was too many points of views, and we were kind of pulling teeth at times, it felt like, for those stories. But other than that, like there were parts of this that were really interesting. So 3.5. Then we have Circle on the cover, and I cheated a little bit and went with Lair of Dreams because this is one I had already started, but there was still over 300 pages left, so it still qualifies as like, you know, a novel within a novel almost. And this is one that I love. 5 stars all around. I love the Diviner series, and the saddest part about finishing this is that I want to continue on, but I can't this month. I just physically can't this month because there's still 2 more books in the series, and these are ones that I kind of like to take my time with a little bit. But I love this. These are a much slower paced book, and so sometimes it feels like you're like, I don't know, slowing down a bit, slogging through some things, but it's always so well worth it. And I love these characters, and oh, I love this world so much. Historical fantasy, I just will always eat up, especially historical paranormal, like ghost type things. I will always eat up. 3 titles, pick one at random. Remember, it picked Tempest and Tea. I swapped it. I redid it because I knew I wasn't gonna have time for Tempest and Tea, but I'm gonna try to fit it into my fall TBR. Instead, it picked Midas, which is also a thick graphic novel, and it's a pretty wordy graphic novel. And honestly, I feel like maybe I should have attempted literally anything else. And maybe I should have just attempted Tempest and Tea at this point. This took me so long to read because I literally could not give a flying fuck about anything happening in this. Not a single damn thing. I simply did not care. There's a lot of math involved, and it's basically like I don't know, they go to get Midas, who turned Earth to gold, and they're gonna use it to help win the war, but then like the bad guys find it, and then they're all fighting over it, and all these bad mistakes are happening, and I just didn't care. I don't know, I just didn't care. I know someone else in the world would probably like it, but I'm gonna give it a 2. There's nothing inherently wrong with the story. I just didn't enjoy it. Last thing was a book that you didn't buy, and I read Mousetrap, which is a horror novella that was my my book club, Tiny Terrors book club pick for the month. And well, it was technically last month, but I always read it like within the 24 hours leading up to the book discussion because I'm a procrastinator. And it's just a little scary story. It's probably, if you haven't read a lot of horror before, I feel like it's a really good introduction into like haunted house. A really quick read. It's exactly what you signed up for, a little haunted house moment. Kind of deal weird spooky things happening in the house, and we're trying to figure out what went down. Her brother has died, she's returned, and there's something like speaking to her in this house now. So, it was a good time. Really quick pace. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think that's what I'm gonna give it. It was enjoyable, but forgettable. And that's my wrap up. Alright! Thank you so much for hanging out in this weekly vlog. Thank you so much. I have allergies are kicking in right now. Thank you so much for hanging out in this weekly vlog, and I will see you for the next one when we start the official fall Magical Readathon. Autumnal, autumn, whatever. Okay, bye.